Hello students, I'm Samridhi from Climbers. I'm back again to share a new video with you. The topic of today's video is to cover the introductory part of writing task 2. As we already did that, writing task 2 is an essay based question, and in this video I will post how to attempt the introductory part of writing task 2. So let's begin. As you can see on the screen, firstly, when we have to attempt the writing task 2, we have to be careful about the paragraphing, and we have to make 4 paragraphs like introduction, body paragraph 1, 2 and conclusion. Now let us take a look at how to make introduction. As we all know that introduction is the very first paragraph of the writing task 2, so it should be very much authentic and impressive. So the basic steps to introduction: whenever you get any statement, how to start the intro, you just need to keep in mind the 3 steps. The first one is GS, that is journal statement and the background statement. Means you have to start the topic with a background statement. Never start directly what you believe. Now the second step is paraphrasing. Paraphrasing is like you will be given a statement and you have to rephrase that whole statement in your own words. You can use even simpler words, or you can use a synonym of those words. You can even jumble the words in order to get a new meaning, in order to get a new sentence, but the meaning should be same. Keep in mind that while paraphrasing, do not change the meaning of the statement, so it can impact your scores. And the last step for introduction is address the question properly. And for this, you need to identify the different types of questions, or different types of basically essay types that are mostly asked in the Ielts exam. So, and then address accordingly. Now let us begin with the first step of the introduction, that is journal statement, or how to make an effective journal statement or the background statement. I have seen that many of the people used to cram these journal statements, but that's not a good idea. Please use your wits and practice more to get a good journal statement or a background statement, because see, it is the only hook statement and it creates an impression at the very beginning. So according to me, you can follow these 2 simple strategies. Firstly, always read the question properly and fetch out the keywords, and you can note down the keywords on rough area and can define them in your words. Like choose the keywords. For example, if the question is about health sector, education sector, society, you can fetch some keywords and define simply in your own language. So this can also work. But the second one is always effective, that is compare and contrast. Like example, you are not getting any keyword, you don't know how to define the statements, how to start the topic. Do not panic at all. Use this strategy: compare and contrast. Read the topic, compare the scenario with the past or with the ancient times, like how it used to be. For example, nowadays women are working, so in the earlier days they were just locked in the 4 walls of house. So you can just compare and contrast the given statement or the question according to the scenario, according to the past and the present scenario. So it would be always effective and always help you to fetch more bands. So I hope that making an effective journal statement or the background statement, the process is quite clear to you. So now let's try with the help of example. So the question is, ragging was started with a positive attitude, but with the passage of time it has become a nuisance. So it is a much debated issue that ragging should be banned in educational institutions. So to what extent you agree or disagree with this idea? So now very first step to the introduction is journal statement, as we already did, and we can make it by 2 strategies. Number 1 is fetching the keywords and defining them, and number 2 is compare and contrast with the present and the past scenario. So here I hope so that keywords are quite clear to you. The keywords are ragging basically. The keyword is basically ragging. The topic is on the ragging. So you can see the keywords like it's ragging and you can define it in your own words. For example, it is done for you. Ragging is the traditional ritual to welcome the newcomers by the senior students, or ragging was originated as a tradition to break the ice between the seniors and juniors. So this can be the definition of ragging, or you can also define what you feel what ragging is about in your own words. So this is the strategy of selecting a keyword and then defining it simply what you feel that about that and in your own words. So nothing scientific or any typical you can say that explanation or definition is required. You can just put down your own thoughts in your words. Now let's try the strategy 2, that is when you are unable to fetch the keywords or define them, then you can use this strategy, which is compare and contrast. So you can imagine the situation, what the situation was in past and now in present. For example, ragging was initiated in a friendly manner, but now it has become a menace. So it's a comparison of past and present. Second one is also done for you. Traditionally a welcome gesture it was, but with the vicissitudes of time, it is becoming a major threat for society. Means with the passage of time, it is becoming a major threat for society. Earlier, senior used this measure to acquaint the newcomers to the existing students in a positive and vibrant way, but as the time passed, whole meaning of this warm gesture changed. So this is the strategy of compare and contrast. That is, read the statement and fit it according to the prehistoric and the present times. So I hope so that it is clear to you. So after making journal statement, the second important step for introduction is paraphrasing or rewriting the given statement in your own words. So for this you need synonyms, or you can make a new statement by jumbling the words, but keep in mind it should be very clear and the meaning of the statement should not change. For example, you can use the synonym of the highlighted words which are given in the next slide. So these are the synonyms that can help you to make a new statement, and it is already done for you. Now the third most important step to complete the introduction or to wind up the introduction is the last step, that is to identify the type of question asked, and you have to address it accordingly and answer it accordingly. So identify the type, and here our type is to what extent you agree. So now this question can be attempted in 3 ways, because it is asking like to what extent you agree. So you can completely agree or disagree, you can partially agree or disagree, or you can mostly agree or disagree. Now when you choose to completely agree or disagree, then you have to follow one side opinion. Example, you can use such kind of words to address the question. I completely agree or accord with the notion that ragging should be banned in the educational institutes. Or I completely disagree or denies with the notion that ritual of ragging should be eliminated from universities or colleges. Now these are the synonyms you can use instead of agree, like accord, I fully express my assent, I firmly believe that, I strongly recommend that, I affirms that. So these are the synonyms that you can use instead of agree or disagree, which are given in the slide. But one thing which you need to focus is when you choose completely agree or disagree, be stick to one point do not contradict your viewpoint in your body paragraphs, as you have already mentioned that you are firmly with this notion. You completely agree or completely disagree, then you have to stick to one option. You don't have to go partially or state the another viewpoint. So do not contradict your viewpoint, and you have to make the conclusion accordingly. So now when you choose partially agree or disagree, and according to me it's always advisable because it gives you more viewpoints and you can express your views regarding both the sides. So when you choose partially agree, be aware about the number of points you are using. So be balanced in your approach and use the same number of points for agree and disagree. And you can use such kind of words to express your views. Example, I partly or I partially agree with the given statement, or I partially support both the viewpoints as ragging should be practiced but in a regulated way. And here conclusion also need to be balanced. You have to make a very balanced conclusion that if it should be there in the educational institutions, then it should be in a very controlled and it should be in a very scrutinized way. Or when you choose mostly agree, here you can tilt more to one side. Stronger side must contain at least 1 point more than the other one. So these are the words that you can use. I mostly agree. I express my assent to the notion that ragging should be proscribed whilst it have some positive sides too. Or I believe ragging must be allowed to some extent only so as to maintain the decorum of the school. And here conclusion should be having a mixed approach and should be tilted toward the side, more towards that side which you choose. So here you have to make you can say that 70-30 approach. You can agree with one notion to a larger extent, and you can also express one or the 2 points of the another side of the statement. So be careful while attempting this type of question. Now here is a full-fledged introduction in front of you. First one is a journal statement, and the second in between it is paraphrased, and lastly it is addressed. So ragging is a welcome ritual often practiced in high schools to break the ice between seniors and juniors. So this is what a journal statement. It was initiated with a friendly approach, but now it has become a major threat for the institutes and the students as well. So it is what? Paraphrasing the statement. It is always debated that ragging should be proscribed in the educational establishments. I partially agree with this statement, and it should be practiced in the schools but with the constructive approach. I will elaborate my viewpoints in the upcoming paragraphs. So these last lines are to address the question where I choose that or where I partially agreed with the statement. So I hope so that these steps to make an introduction are clear to you, and we will be coming with a new video soon. So please like our channel, share it, and practice more to get more bands. So thank you very much, guys.